Well, hello there. We're here again. Yes, it's me. Of course, you clicked on this, so you get me, right? Uh, You're probably sitting there going, "Can you say that every time?" Yes, I can, because I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I said that too. And it's truthful. That's the amazing thing. I do enjoy these times. Well, I'm a storyteller. Uh, that's how Father has used me and Spirit and Son to help people understand things and move things. And my favorite saying is, "You bring it with you." That's where the stories come from. So, ever have a session with me, you'll know that that's what's happening. Your energy is drawing out these stories from my library. Well, God's library is bigger than mine. So, wisdom. Wow. There's lots of those out there, as I've said so many times. You're probably getting tired of that too, but it's true. You know, you couldn't exhaust the wisdom of God if we tried, and we're giving it a go right now. So, I was thinking about, how we move through existence, and, I'm learning more about that in my university stuff, and it's kind of an interesting walk, isn't it? Let me give you a piece of wisdom that may mean very little to you, may mean very lot. Don't know. But have a thought on this for a minute. What if that twinkle in the sky that you see as a star, God put there so you could see it? What if that crash of the wave at that exact moment when you required it was done because God put it right there for you at that moment? You get what I'm saying? This is a God that designs everything. There isn't anything wasted. Everything that happens happens for a reason. Wow, you've heard that from a million voices, right? Let me expand that just a tad. It really is true. Somehow, some way, you spent time with God before you got here. He knit you together in your womb, and He knew you before that. So that's what He says. That's His word. What does that really mean? Well, it means kind of that you were there and you figured out what you were going to do, and now you're here. A being of light, capital L, capital A, capital D, capital H, capital T, and energy doing what matters. Yes, you. That one over there in the corner. Yep, him. And her too, you know, even though you may not believe it. I know that sometimes that we can think, wow, I'm not doing anything, and you're doing everything. You'll be astounded sometimes when we hit certain spaces in reality where we figure some of that out. It comes forward, it shows itself, it makes itself known. Always like those words, known. Like, here it is, no longer in hiding, now fully frontal right in front of you. So to think of that, every star that you see, you're meant to see. Every wave you hear, you're meant to hear. Every piece of sand you step on, you're meant to step on. It's all ordered, it's all orchestrated in a way that we cannot really understand completely. Yet, here we are, and we're standing on a path that's lit by God, regardless if we know it or not. If we want to argue about that, that's okay. Most that have it lost, and those that haven't are going to. God is everywhere. There is a reason for everything, even the stuff that we don't understand. Even things that we see now that, well, that can't be God. Maybe it is. Let me end with a little story. I know I'm going to give you a big story, but I'm going to give you a little one first. Give you a little representation of what happens in one of my encouragement spaces. Well, mentoring, guiding. Yes, I light up light bulbs. Blink, that one over there. Yeah, that's the one you need to look at. Maybe, if you want. Doesn't matter. Wish, desire, you know. But this is how one of the stories may flow out. And that is, I met a lady when I first went to Brisbane. That was a long time ago. And she said it was interesting because she had specific abilities from father about cancer, and she'd been able to help people with cancer find alternative routes to wellness. And she had just been at this place, and in this place was, of course, a doctor. And believe it or not, she worked sometimes with the doctors. And she had just come out, got in her car, and this lady who had just got really bad news backed into her. Yep, smuck. Wasn't a bad smuck, but it was a smuck. The lady, of course, was completely distraught, got out and said, I just got the worst news ever, and I'm sorry, and this is my insurance, but I don't know what the number is. And this lady said, what was your news? Well, I've got cancer, and it's stage 4, and well, I have a treatment that works. Well, I can't do chemo. That would kill me. I know that. I don't have tolerance for that type of thing. Well, this isn't that, she said. It's a tea. You drink it. It's not tasty, wonderful, but it works. It can definitely benefit you on your journey back to healing. And maybe we can talk about some other things. Which led that lady ending up at my conference on living your life on purpose. Yes, I do one on that. Because we do. Oh, that's a big story. Maybe we'll stick it in someday. And she found out even more things. I taught her a process that we've already talked about called We Forgive and a couple of others. And she's healthy. And I might even say healthy, wealthy, and wise because she's become more of what God sent her for and what she came for. So let's leave it there. Well, we got to do that thing, don't we? Well, at least I think I have to do that thing because I do want to help people. And if I'm going to help them, I have to do this. So let's do it just once. I don't have to go into a big fluff. Let's just do it once. So it's my name, Eric, and we're going to go to the next word, start, because we want to start something. Healing, well, that's always what we're wishing, and dot me, which of course is to heal me, which is what God will do. And if you go to that and you send me an email and you say, hey, um, you know, I'd like a session, and I'll send you a link that's without cost, and we'll talk about the rest. But in that session, you never know what's going to happen. I had one lady sit with me for one time, and that fixed everything. You may say, wow, well, if you're ready, you're ready. That's how it works. So anyway, enough of that. Now, I am at story time, and I didn't review the story. So guess what? I am going to go somewhere else in this story and start a different thread for a minute, just like Father is kind of leading me to do. So all of this commotion and everything had a person, a female, then a male, come out of a small little house that had been, yeah, shown up as all of them had. They were one of the first ones to get there, one of the few hundred that showed up at the very beginning. Hadn't really talked about anything because they'd had a bit of a rough life. I didn't want to talk about that part of the life at all. They had a pretty brilliant, wonderful childhood, and then everything kind of went soupy after that. They somehow ended up in this world, which they didn't know how. They certainly weren't from here, they weren't humans either, so they were from somewhere else. They had been brought here by something, messed up their entire existence as far as they were concerned, but now it was kind of turning nicely. They had a nice place to stay, and they had nice people around them that were very helpful, and this was great. there were some other issues that they would have to deal with sooner or later. But life was pretty good here, and they liked that. But they hadn't been contributing much, and they wished to do that. They didn't know how that was going to work yet, or how that was going to come together. But they did wish to help in whatever way they can. His occupation on his world before he got transferred to whatever this is and into that nightmare and then into this sanctuary was whittler. He whittled on wood. There's a bit of wood around, so he could do that. And she also worked with wood, but she helped wood go where it required to go. She was a wood weaver. She hadn't talked to anybody, neither had he. They'd just been there helping out in the garden, doing other things, making sure the staves that held up those large, beautiful tomatoes didn't fall over quietly in the background. Or they thought. Because at the moment they went to go back into their house, they heard a voice. It had been a few days since all this turmoil had been happening. Lady had had a nap, and now she was standing before them, and so was one of the sages. The sage said, "You have magic flowing through you." Yes, yes. We're from a world where magic happens. And what is that world? It's this world, but we're never going back. We know that. We never got faster than light travel or jump through thingies or anything, but all of a sudden we're here. And we don't mind here. Well, it was kind of hard at the beginning. We were slaves and oh, that was a mess. But now we're in sanctuary and we're good. And we really do want to help, but this is what we can do. The lady said, listening. And they go, well, we've been strengthening the staves. I wonder who was doing that. For the tomatoes, right? Yeah, that's very appreciated. That way the tomatoes get to stay up. Well, that's my wife. She's a wood weaver. She can weave with wood. Oh, you mean that? Yes. You know that lady that's living on the side that kind of weaved her stuff out? Yeah. Well, I've had a chat with her and she'd really like to have a house. Not, she doesn't like being in a city very much. That will just disappear back into the wall when she leaves, but she would like to have a house in a tree, but not a tree house. And the lady's eyes just lit up. Oh, I know how to make one of those. I know what she wants. She wants a tree tower. Yes, she does. She figures if she can raise a tree tower, she can reinforce the shield up there in a very unique fashion with multiple patterns. In fact, she can rework the entire shield if she has the right tree. And she said, well, I can do that. It will take me a few days to build her one of those, but I can make sure that it has all of the stuff she requires. She just has to picture it, and I can build it, weave it, kind of both. My husband over here works with what I don't. He's a whittler, but in a different way. You'll see it all come together, and we would love to help as much as you wish. She gonna be okay out there? Oh yeah. The planet is ours. It's just we have to keep it now with God's help. This God you speak of, you really love this God. We can tell. We hear that. We also love God, one God, true God. Probably why we're here, because our people aren't really into one gods. They got about 1 billion of them. I'm not joking. They worship anything that moves. And we were praying, and now we're here. And of course, we went through a trial and a tribulation. These things happen. There's a book. Oh, you mean this? The lady took out one. Oh, is that? That's his word. Yes. You're from that place. Well, one of them, yes. The one that had it all happen on, yes. Only one place, yes. But he's made sure that it's out everywhere. I can tell you more later. But this lady would really like to get her. Oh, yeah, I'll get on that tower. And at that moment, one of the ladies that had been planting the tree said, "Oh my, how did you get here?" Well, one minute we're standing in our backyard talking about a tree, which is how what we lived in and what our people live in, and then something said, "I'll buy that," and my wife was, we've been whittling for those people that left. And when you opened the City of Sanctuary, we came immediately. Ah, that explains a few things. You're going to turn one of my trees into a tree tower? Can I ask a favor? Sure. If it's safe out there, lady, can we move out there? We don't mind your city at all. You've been very good to us, but we live in the trees. Oh, certainly, you will be safe out there. We will make sure of it. And they said, well, we can do those things for you. Um, it's going to take some time. Oh, I understand that. So the one that had come in the crash ship, it's all right. We'll let that lady get hers up, but we can help with that. We have the stones you may be looking for. You do? Yes. They were in our ships, and these nice people saved some of them. We would be quite willing to give you a couple of the power stones for her tower to give her a better connection to the God she serves, which is the one we serve, which is the one true God. Certainly, that would be helpful. So the lady scurried back and came back with three stones and gave them, they put them into the pouch. Well, those will be perfect. And I'll be whittling stairs and things that won't quite warp out of the trees the way that you would like. Don't worry, the tree is not hurt. The tree is still alive. The tree is still happy, being useful. So off they went to find a very large tree. And the lady that had been living in the side of the wall, the Hobbit house, got out of it, packed up her stuff into a little bag, a very tiny little bag, about the size, little round ball. Everything went in. She said, "Oh, I'm going to get a new house today." Well, may take a couple of days, ma'am. Well, we're on it. Okay, well, if you get the ground floor done, then I can put my bed in. That would be good. Yeah, we can do that today. You want a straight stair or a spiral? Spiral if it's not too hard. Oh, no, not too hard at all. Your energy is amazing. If we can link with your energy, we may be able to get it done in a day. Well, that's not a worry. Let's go. So off they went. They found a very big, beautiful, gorgeous tree, and they asked the tree if it wanted to be a tower, and it said, "Yeah, haven't been one of those in a long time. My seed of my seed of my seed was a tower." Ah, that's what was here before everything went skanky. Oh, well, the lawmakers are the lawmakers. Is that tree talking to us? In a way, not sentient in the way that we understand sentience. It's intelligent, though, and it doesn't mind us making a tower here. No. Okay, well, I'm gonna start. And she looks and she goes, "How big do you want it?" Well, this tree size is good. I think I can live in there quite well. Especially with this stone. Oh, that stone makes, wow, everything kind of, yeah. So the tree doesn't have to change. The tree almost kind of leaves come down a little bit more. Ah, good. I want to stay my size. I can get bigger though. Yes, you can. That's what the tree seemed to say. Of course, the tree isn't really talking in the way we talk, but it is talking. It's accepting. It's knowing. As God created it to be. And so they work away, and lady comes out and goes, "Wow, you nearly got it done." Yeah, yeah. This woman here has a lot of growth power. That's what we call it. How are you doing, Lady of the Hobbit House? I'm gonna have to call you now Lady of the Tree House, which ain't a tree house. So we'll call it a tree tower? Lady of the Tree Tower. Okay. Remember, I told you, not a lady, a woman. Oh yes. Woman of the Tree Tower. Gotcha. I like that. I haven't had one of these in a long time. I know. This is what the world used to look like, didn't it? Yeah, a long time ago, before everything kind of went ski whiff. Uh-huh. Well, you've been in my world, I can tell by your language. Ah, long time ago. Very long time ago. Understand? And she just got a faraway look and she said, I was among the crowds when God stepped onto earth and God died for us. That was incredible. I stood there, wept, accepted him. And then I was back in this wonderful world, wandering around, talking to people that would allow me to talk, not many, but a few. It's going to become a beautiful world again. Yes. You think those things that you've kind of moved off and dealt with and they're still kicking around up there are going to keep causing problems? Oh, yeah, and others like them. You know that. It's going to happen. That's all right. With this tree up and running, and more like it, and they're going to come out. Why? Because I'm not the only one. Let's leave it there. So let's have a blessing of absolute, complete, and utter joy flowing through every part of your being, bubbling, making you feel so amazing because you are amazing, honest. God loves you greatly. And then, of course, peace, unexplainable, unassailable. That peace can be with you regardless of what you're going through. That type of peace. And hope, well, hope that builds a future and helps you exist in the 12 seconds of life. And overflow and abundance and everything else that paintbrush in God's hands wishes to paint for you. According to his will and wish, according to your will and wish, it can be. That's our word of prayer. We come before you, O Father, and we know that the story has multiple assets and you're going to weave it all together. I'm not even attempting to keep it all in my head. It's yours. It always will be yours. And I am so grateful to you for what you do and the small things to the food that is blessed and is nourishment for me and the nourishment that comes from all different avenues and angles. Yet there are lessons to be learned and we do learn them and we wish to learn them in the easiest way possible. There, of course, have been hurts, so there has to be healings. There have been injuries, and we require to forgive and let go and move on. And so we will. Give us courage and strength and grace and mercy. And then we say thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude. Standing in awe and honor, respect, allowing all glory to flow to Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. So when you wake, wake well. When you rest, rest well. I know that your path is well lit by God. Blessings.